It's been a long time since I made a video. This video is going to be about the current state of the job market, a lot of stuff about technical aspects and non-technical aspects as well, but the general topic is AI. To get into it, I had probably 75% of my career in just working in business, working in management, operations, and then 25% on the actual technical side, which I do enjoy. But if I had to put myself on a scale, I would say it's a 2 out of 10 for my actual technical skills. And off the top of my head, I could probably only solve like 15 leak code problems, and they're all the easy ones. So take what I say today with a grain of salt. Feel free to form your own opinions. Feel free to disagree with how I view things. Feel free to disagree with your experiences. But yeah, just creating open space and want to talk about my experiences working with AI and how I see the current job market. I think the job market is quote unquote cooked, at least for another 1 to 2 years. What I'm experiencing firsthand is that there's so much technical debt, there's so much for a need to produce so much AI slop, that what happens is there's a lot of technical debt, there's a lot of things breaking, no more QA, cybersecurity. It's almost as if these don't even exist anymore, which leads me to believe that in 1 to 2 years, there's going to be a lot of roles for cybersecurity, for QA, software engineers to clean up the AI slop that's been going around. I'm a true believer that this is just temporary, and I want to talk about one of the first things is non-technical or technical PMs, whether it's they're being rushed by upper management, leadership. What I do see is the constant regurgitation of just chatbots, AI slop, where you see a lot of chatbots, and I get told, for example, one time, it's like, these users have 2 million rows of data all in Excel. Why can't they just upload it inside the chatbot and get what they need? Like, why can't you just build this in one day? Now, I'd have to gently tell them, without having to use engineering terms, embeddings, RAG, tokens, without having to get too technical. I'll tell them that there's a context limit. We have to work with chunking the data. We have to work with segmenting things to make things smaller, create things in a better process where we can ingest all the data without losing a lot of context needed for the data. And even before that, we need data engineers, we need data scientists, we need analysts to help formulate the data, clean the data, and ensure that, even works in Tableau or Power BI, something basic. But it goes straight into, okay, you have 2 days to build this. And a lot of the times what I do see, especially with more of the non-technical, is that I'll get hit with well, I vibe coded this in 1 day and it works perfectly fine for me. And then I would ask them to send over whatever they vibe coded, and I'll see a static HTML site with hard-coded rows of data that are like maybe 2 or 3 rows. And what happened is they upload the data, and the AI chatbot would probably give them a brief summary of like analysis that it performed. It was incorrect, by the way. They would press the run button and it would generate the numbers like really fast. And they would go, see, I don't understand why we can't just do this. It works really fast here, it works on my device. I was able to create this in just 30 minutes. Show them the reasoning of why that's the case. Show them how everything's been hard-coded. Show them that it's just a static site that has numbers being pulled when you trigger the button. And I'll gently explain the concepts of why this is not as easy as it seems. One thing that frustrated me a ton was when they go quiet, they come to you, and then like 5 minutes later, they would be like, I don't understand why you're making this so difficult for me. In order to gain the trust of a team, and in order to get the trust of our consumers, we need to ensure that this goes through a proper life cycle. Any product, any AI product, any AI wrapper product, so to say, that gets put out there, we are prone to injection. If it's vibe coded, we could get hacked. There's a lot of security vulnerabilities to worry about, not to mention that it's not even on a CI/CD. It's just being pushed live immediately. Many times it's like, hey, how many AI products can we build? We need 30 this month. What kind of 30 products are we talking about? Are we just talking about like vibe-coded products, or are we talking about actual products that use the API in order to generate accurate information for our stakeholders? Most of the time, there's no roadmap or there's no guideline as to what these tools are. It's just, we need AI. A lot of the leadership, a lot of the times you see companies just talking about AI, 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 AI. From my experience, a lot of these companies are just saying the word AI, but have nothing to prove for it. All the AI tools that are developed are completely slop. They get pushed to production, they don't work, users don't want to use it anymore, they get fully deprecated. But at least on their note, they can say that they developed AI tools, right? I don't want to be one-sided in this conversation. I do know that subject matter experts matter a ton here. I can't just create a finance tool without a basic understanding of finance. I can't create a health tool without understanding more about health, nutrition, calories. So if I look through the business side of things, I do understand that many times I've been given a budget, I've been given requirements, I've been given a timeline. These conversations can go months and months and months of pushback, giving more time to your engineers, giving more time for your analyst, understanding that things take time. When I was given a budget and timeline, I would have to push back in those meetings stating that our engineers can develop very fast, they can develop quality code, they just need the time to do so. We need to come up with the strategy, I can come up with that strategy, come to you, bring it back to you, and ensure that we have a good product that goes into the hands of our stakeholders or consumers. I do understand the pressure that a lot of the PMs get or a lot of the managers get is that they have a requirement to fulfill or it looks bad on them. But at least in my experience, I'm willing to take that downfall or that impact if things get delayed in their eyes, when in reality, we're just ensuring that we have everything in scope, everything fully required to push a good product. And when you think about it long term, you see that it's just like an application about art and they're just generating AI slop art. And no one really wants to use it. It feels soulless. There's no emotion behind it, there's no story behind it, it just feels like slop. As a result, you lose a lot of customers because a lot of customers don't want AI slop on their feed. They want the dedication, blood, sweat, and tears that all these artists put into their art. People want to feel acknowledged, people want to share the skills that they have, people want to share their story behind each piece, not just AI slop, copy and paste it over. And the same thing goes for AI products. When you're developing products that, for example, finance people would use or supply chain people would use, you want to make sure that AI truly understands their needs, their requirements, that they feel heard in order to develop a good product. What I deal with is just develop AI, just get AI out, AI, 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 just force feed them AI, spoon feed them AI. And it gets very frustrating because you understand that most of the business users that are using these tools want to feel heard. They want their feedback to be heard. They want a good product to be developed in their hands, but at the same time, you get orders from leadership to develop tools that are just slop, that they think are good. I've had several conversations where my entire team would back me up in these conversations. But even with them, it's really tough to beat ego, especially when ego is this high. It's really tough to just bring that down. No matter how the approach is, they only have one thing in their mind, is developing this at that timeline. There are no exceptions. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about this. It gets tiring. People burn out. I get burnt out. It gets frustrating. You know the answers of how to do things, but at the same time, that shared vision just doesn't reach the light. I've had engineers come up to me, talk to me, saying, I keep getting blamed for the data breaking or the app breaking, even though I'm not the one touching it. What usually happens is you see a lot of managers say, I need full visibility, I need full access of all your databases, of the API and everything. And they go in there, they change the schema, they change things unwarranted. And even if you tell them, even if you lock them out, even if you get security involved, they always find a way to get their hands on. When they do get caught or investigated, they throw you under the bus stating that they allowed you to use it. I've seen this happen over and over at several companies. Once we had an API key to start developing all these tools, my manager would come up to me and say, everyone needs this API key. We need to make sure that everyone has the ability to create their own AI tools, to create all these things. And I would push back stating that we have a budget. Not everyone should have, the keys to your house. Not everyone should have access to this. We can create a governance model. We can create something, an intake form that allows people to use an API. So I would be forced to share the API key with everyone, to share the Art Cloud credentials with everyone. Not everyone should have the keys to your house. Not everyone should have the keys to your car. Even with this analogy, you can't win a winning battle against this. It's always an ego challenge. They always push back stating, I'm not stupid. Why are you talking to me like this? And several times it's like, this wasn't supposed to happen. It's like, And these things show over time, right? You know, the latest Windows update, when Notepad had the security vulnerability, it could get hacked. Frame rates of games dropping on the new Windows update. It's just all these vibe coded things that get pushed out to production. I don't blame the engineers for actually developing this. I do blame the things that happen in order for this to even be pushed in the first place. I've been in the process many times. I've seen how things work. I've seen how things get pushed or decided. And it's always just, we use AI, forefront of AI. Like, just stop. It's annoying. Like, AI is not going to solve our problems. AI is not going to clean your data for you. AI is not going to do this. AI is not going to do any of these things unless you have a proper strategy, unless you have a proper tech stack. Quick message to all the non-technical PMs or non-technical individuals. My advice would be to understand how things work, even if you don't get hands-on. For example, even if you're working marketing or not doing A/B testing hands-on, even if you're not doing ETL and you lead a data engineering team, get a basic understanding of how things work so that you can be a good leader for your team. And for technical folks, understand the pressure and timelines that PMs have to go through. They have to deal with all the bureaucracy. They have to deal with all the corporate politics in order to get these products out to the general public or with the internal teams. Just understand that they're doing their very best in their power to make sure that leadership doesn't go directly into your lap and that they are protecting you from that layer. But yeah, it gets annoying. You know, my personal experience right now is people magically think that you can just vibe code each individual idea. Each idea is its own standalone application, and that it can be vibe coded in 2 days. And each application will have so many layers to it, so many processes required to fulfill the necessary information, the right stakeholders. There needs to be a foundation that you just can't vibe code an entire product, that you just can't vibe code something. It's just frustrating. You know, you have all these companies being acquired. In the story headline news always goes, oh, this vibe coded app built this vibe coded app did this vibe coded app did that. And then when you actually look into the real story, you find out that the person who vibe coded that app was an ex-Meta engineer or ex-Airbnb engineer, you know, someone who has experience in developing apps, tools, systems, someone who actually understands software engineering practices. It's just frustrating. Yeah, just thinking about it right now, it's just really frustrating. So I'm going to stop talking about it. Like I said, I'm not 2 out of 10. I basically rate myself a 2 out of 10 on a tech skill. So just know that if you're new, starting, or transitioning into these fields where AI is becoming more prevalent, you are not behind. It only takes a couple of months to really catch up on the foundations, understand how things work. A lot of places I've seen are struggling to understand these foundational concepts. If you feel like you're being gaslit, you are being gaslit. Yeah, feel free to leave your experiences, your opinions, your disagreements, your agreements, whatever it is. I'd want to hear all sides of the story. I'd want to understand how things go. If this was truly a bad take and truly the worst video, do dislike the video as well. Yeah, see ya.